jail over here. Welcome, Brian. We're gonna help you out with that tonight. That is definitely a cry for help. I can tell. Those of you guys that don't see what's going on here, we have a couple of different ways you can join us tonight. Right now, we're simulcasting on 2 TikTok channels. So welcome everybody. That's why you see me looking down and looking up and looking around, and it's because you guys are just everywhere. So I want to welcome all of you guys to the call. I want to reintroduce James. James is a decorated. He's a war hero. He's just a phenomenal guy. He served our country, and he's still in the practice of serving our country. And good minds always come together. And holy cow, man, like freaking frack, we came together. And so he's decided to join us here at the House of Yah Community Outreach, and he's going to be helping me a lot with the day-to-day stuff, and he's muting in and muting out, but I think he figured it out now. So he'll be helping us. So James, I'll go ahead and give you the floor, brother. Welcome to the call. Glad you're here too.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the invite always. Yeah, I decided to come on board. A lot of this resonates with what I've already got going on, and a lot of the information that's being provided through the House of Y'all matches up with what I already know, and it connects a lot of dots for me. So I've been in this game for quite a while. I woke up back in 2010, started on the medical side. I quit taking pharmaceuticals, started the whole venture of natural enlightenment and just trying to take care of myself better. Got out, turned away from the meds yet again, from the military. I didn't see the point in taking all that stuff, considering I was on Motrin when I got out.
Yeah, right.
And then I wanted to dump 9 prescriptions. But all this getting, then COVID hit, and then the activism I do here locally, the disaster relief, just constantly coming up against all these legal issues and not knowing how to defend myself in the public realm. I know perfectly well how to defend myself in the private, but I had no clue what the public was. So, and I've learned the difference in this journey. And the people that profounded me the most was Timothy, listening to him talk, and he connected a dot that really separates what he's got going on from all these other movements. And to me, it's as simple as he's taking you to the instructions, and he's going to read it line for line, and he's going to explain what that means so that he doesn't have to hold your hand after he tells you the first time. Nothing's left speculative. Everything's answered. There's real solutions. There's proof that it works. There's plenty of fruit. It's just easy to come over here and be, because out here it's real controversial and you're still questioning everything. But over here, when you get an answer to something and that stress goes away, that's how you know that someone is telling you the truth. And that's what I believe that he's attempting to do here, is enlighten everyone to the truth and empower you and show you how much strength you have, because we like to say it's easy to stand in this system, but it's not. But if you have the knowledge, then you can move with power, because there's action involved. So you actually got to get up and do something.
All right,
but you don't have to go out and fight. You just submit your documents and you call and you ask questions and you communicate, just like we do in any relationship.
Hold on just a second, James. So those of you guys out in TikTok land that are having a hard time hearing him, that may be just because I need to call a teenager or something, probably. Who knows? But join us on the Uber conference born 1-888-570-7020. It's completely free. So I'll say it again, 1-888-570-7020. James Ellis is our special guest tonight. We're going to be talking about UCC and non-UCC. Why do we file this stuff? Why are we doing this stuff? So anyway, go ahead, Mother. Go ahead and finish up. You're good.
Yeah, that's that.
Oh, is that it?
My bad. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly. It's
okay.
For whatever reason out in TikTok land, they're not hearing you out there, and I'm not exactly sure why. I'm trying to make some adjustments here, so hopefully they can.
No, it's on my end.
Well, and I think it's my interface, but it's it's nothing that a swipe of the credit card won't fix, I'm sure.
All right. But yeah, that's basically it. You enlightened me to the difference between public and private, and when these processes don't work, we're basically mixing. So that's your first tall tale sign that you need to revamp your process, because you need to go back to the instruction manual. You missed something.
Absolutely.
Basics, fundamental stuff.
Right. Well, we've had some really great folks that have called in uh, this past week, and actually I had a wonderful interview this morning with a young lady from actually very close to where I'm at here in San Antonio, and just a wonderful set of people. And I've got to tell you, Yahweh is waking these people up, and I mean, He's waking up everything. I mean, He really is. And we have to know that years ago when we were scattered, we literally have all of His people have been scattered abroad everywhere, and this is the time when He's bringing all of His people back. This is why you guys are waking up, and this is why we have people like Anna Von Wright. I want to talk a little bit about that, James. This is why we have people like Anna Von Wright that can continue to teach, mislead people, lead them to jail, and then, and then, but with no consequences. Nobody's coming after to do anything to them. And out of all the teachers that were around when woke up, she's the only one still standing besides myself. What are your thoughts on that, James? Because I know you had a pretty cool post about that this week.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sinister what's happening on that side, and whether they know it or not, it's the long run game that we're seeing now. Because how
Yes.
long has this been going on, and how many millions of people have submitted this paperwork?
Oh yeah. 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 Well,
So
we've had a few students that have, and what we've done is we've redacted just redact. I've had them send in letters and redact everything, and just tell them, hey man, that David Straight guy gave me this stuff and it's bad information. You know, and I think that the more that the people know where this is coming from, it's even better, because
yeah, I
then
think
people that are
for
trying
the
to do the
others,
right thing like me, it makes it easier. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and it's for us authors, for us that are service members or vets or even the police, what they're participating in. We all have been in those shoes. All of us.
Yes,
It
that's
was
right.
either some foreign war where we're technically war criminals, or that wasn't our intent. That's not what we experienced over there. But that's at the end of the day, when you look at the bigger agenda, what's on the international stage, not just local, but what's at the top and what's being done. Us vets know what happened over there. All right, we know the ins and outs. We lived it. We walked it. We sweat it, bled it, cried it, teared it, and come home. So we know everything about what happened over there for us that were paying attention. So think of that oath you swore. You swore an oath not only to the people, but to the system. All right.
Uh-huh.
And we are obligated to that system to make sure that it functions in form and style for the benefit of its users. And that's the shareholders of the United States of America, which is the American sovereign, whether you be indigenous or national, you're non-citizen, you have a share in that stake because you have energy invested because of your participation. So you got to act right. You got to respect the system as you would respect yourself.
That's right. That's
That's
exactly
it.
right. And it's fundamentally easy, but so difficult. It's the biggest rock in the room, or it's the pink elephant in the room, whatever you want to call it. So, but real quick, hold on a second. I got to move the spotlight over to Brian because I see Brian over here. Brian, I'm going to unmute you. What's going on over here? What are you on probation? You got a leg monitor? What's going on over here? I can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself. No, you got to unmute yourself, Brian. Yeah, you need to push another button, call a teenager. I don't know. Something. There we go. Still not working. All right.
You can text.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna put him on blast later. Yeah, you're gonna get it. Okay, because this right here, he's got like this background of a jail cell and stuff. And dude, you want to hear dumb? I can't curse on the air like this, but I mean just dumb, stupid stuff. He got a DWI for being on a jet ski with a beer. Yeah, that's what happened to this poor guy. And
So
he's such a nice guy. But, anyway, and so now he's been on bond. I told you I'm putting you on blast. He's been on bond for, since Obama was in office, I think, or something. It's been a while. And, his attorney that he's paid a small fortune to, a very small fortune to, like a down payment on a house to, probably. No, probably not that much, but, tax title license or something. I mean, it's something. So, 5 or 10 grand, something like that. I think it was quite a bit. It was up there. Anyway, so he's been sitting on bond all this time, and there's rules about that. And you can't sit on bond for more than 180 days without having an indictment. And if it, yeah, what are you throwing your gang signs now? What are you doing over there? Oh, okay, he is throwing gang signs. Okay, I don't know what that means, man. So just it's good though. It's good though. I like it, Brian. Anyway, so basically, yeah, it's like a year and 4 months, right? Is that what you said? Like a year and 4 months. Okay, yeah, that's what he was. At least he wasn't using his middle fingers to tell me how long it was. That was nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. I hate reading between the lines. Anyway, so he's been sitting on bond all this time, and so I sent him some case law, and basically after 180 days, text and this isn't legal advice because this happened in my own personal case. So this is mirroring my own personal case. But um basically I sent him some so basically you're still in jail. Even though you're still out on bond, you're still in jail and you're still in custody. And so yeah, that's the cry for help. Okay, I get it now. Okay. Anyway, so he's got this lawyer that keeps arguing with him and telling him that no, there if he could go in there and do all this, but then they could come back within 2 years to do it. You know what? Tell him I'll bet you money they won't. Mhm. Tell him I'll bet you my entire retainer that that won't happen. Because if they do, that's double jeopardy. So tell him to put his money where his mouth is. Yeah, spin the wheel. I mean, he's already spun the wheel with your money. You might as well spin it with his too. Remember, guys, when you're dealing with people like this, don't try to rationalize with them, contract with them. Okay. If you want to beat these guys, especially these attorneys, contract with them. Get them to agree to things. Talk to them and get them to say yes, yes, yes. And then that way, when it comes to the hard yes, all they can do is say yes. And most of the time, you can get them under a repetitious spell like that, and then they'll just say yes anyway and cut their own feet off. Yep, they do that all the time. You know how I know this? Because they do this to us. And, you'd think that because they're the makers or the players of this game that they're really good at it and that, they'd be, like, super powered against us or something. They're not. They fall right into it every time. They're idiots, all of them. I was in Victoria, Texas this week, and, I was in Victoria, Texas this week, and, um these people literally did not wanna hear Tom's case. Those of you guys that know about his foreclosure case that's been we've been in every court in Victoria, and, they literally did not wanna hear his case. He was set to have a status hearing. Well, then the judge, because we all looked at him like he was crazy, he defined what a status hearing was, and that wasn't it. But anyway, according to his definition, that means go in the hall and go talk about it because I don't want to have a hearing about it today. And then if you can't come up with an agreement, then we'll do we'll set a court date. I mean, that's the whole reason we're in there in the first place because we can't come up with an agreement. If we could come up with an agreement, we wouldn't be in court, stupid. God, some people's kids. You dress them up, you send them to school, you send them to MIT. They get a law degree, and it's like they just came out of a coma where they were out for 30 seconds with no oxygen to their brain or something. And it's like, no, no, just this part works. That's it. And that's what you have. That's why I'm telling you all out of just firsthand experience. If you're dealing with anybody with a bar license, don't try to rationalize with them. Don't try to make them understand your feelings because they don't care. They are the most incompassionate people you will ever meet. I'm not even sure they're even real people. Seriously. That minute th that Men movie, I can't say certain things because then they'll call it something else and they'll cry. Yes, and they all dress like Harry Potter. He's right. It's true. And this is what these people do, and they dress like Harry Potter because they're in a religious temple. Did you guys know that? You ever notice how people always cry for God in courtrooms and he never shows up? The only time I ever saw God show up in a courtroom is in that movie with what was his name? James. What was that guy's name? The old guy. Um, he just died recently. Um, George Burns. Yeah. That's the only movie I ever saw God show up in a courtroom. And here's why. It's a temple. It's a temple. It's literally designed to be as unclean as possible so he won't pass over the gate either. Why do you think they want you to pass over the bar? Hmm? It's not necessarily because you're on a boat. It's because it's in a separate jurisdiction and they want you to cross over. And when you cross over, you're out of Yahweh's protection.
Yep.
Not
You
just your
move from
families, but just Yahweh's too.
the private to the public.
That's exactly right. And then it's ching ching, ching ching, and then everybody's making money on you. You know, one things I've noticed is with consumer anything that has to do with like a consumer purchase, there's all these unnecessary people involved that need to get paid. You ever notice that? Like you're fixing to sell your house, right? Look at the closing costs. And nobody even opened the door yet. But we got all these closing costs because we're closing. I don't even know where that comes from. I don't even get it. There's not even any notebooks. I don't get it. But this is just these are spells and these are crosses in our reality. This is when you change over, when you cross over. And it's so true, man. Um and these attorneys are absolutely there to monetize your pain and misery and make money. That's their job. And that's what they're looking for. You ever notice why they only take those little heartfelt cases that show up on TV? They only take them, like, sometimes. Because if you have one and you're bleeding in the street or on fire, forget it. Well, it's just really not worth me doing. I can't tell you how many attorneys I've heard say that, and I'm just wondering to myself, "What do you guys do for a living?" They work for somebody else, and it's not us, you know? So unless you got a popular case, like a DWI case or a company case or something like that where somebody can really cash in and make money on you, these guys aren't interested in helping you. And we need to know that about this. We do. We need to know that about our system that's the way it is. So anyway, my God, James,
Sorry.
dude,
It's loud.
I not anymore. I'll bring you back in a second. All right, go ahead and beat up the screen door now. We don't care. It's cool. You can move all the furniture you want to, move all the chairs, drag them on the floor, whatever you want now, man. You're good. You know what? Break a mirror or two. Why not? I'm just messing with you. Anyway, so tonight I wanted to talk about it with James soon as he gets settled. I'm sure he will in a minute. But I want to talk to James more about this whole straw man. We're going to talk about this public and private thing, and we're going to kind of show you kind of a breakdown of what people are missing, I think. And I think what people are missing in this whole UCC process, and I'm talking about even the people writing the books, the 2.0 and the 3.0 people, the UCC connection guy. You ever notice like year after year, he still can't get it right? So he's got a 3.0 and a 4.0. Things aren't changing that much, not that much. But tonight we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about some of the myths. I want to bring out some of the myths that are out there, and James and I are going to kind of throw some stuff back and forth. None of this is rehearsed, by the way, so I'm totally throwing him on the spot by doing this. So I hope you guys can hear him out in TikTok land. If you cannot, please take the time to ask us some questions, please. We'll answer them as best we can. Okay. So I wanted to dispel some of the myths that are out there. And if you guys have some of this voodoo magic stuff that you learned from the David Straight conference or the Kenny Plaster conference or at $49.95 a month, are you serious? And then we got the Anavon Wright class. Anybody from that class? Come on, man, get your coloring books out, man, and come join us tonight. It's gonna be fun. So listen, Merritt, I want to talk about some myths, some stupid stuff that people were telling you guys to do, and I'm gonna explain one, then I'm gonna send it back to James. Um, so get done moving all that furniture and feeding the hamster or whatever you were doing. I'm kidding. Anyway, but get settled. Um, So one of the myths that I hear a lot is the whole changing your name to uppercase, lowercase. Have you guys ever heard that? You need to
Yeah.
change your status. And they'll go, and you need to change it to upper lowercase. And it's going to change everything. You know what, guys? I'm going to tell you that is completely false. And here's why. My birth certificate is upper lowercase. It's already that way. And I didn't walk on water on my way into this meeting. I assure you that. So what I'm telling you, and why doesn't it work? And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work. Because you're mixing and commingling public and private. Okay. So what is private? The stuff you don't see. That's what private is. Okay. What's public? The stuff you do see. And unfortunately, what you see from the public side is usually the deficiency and, the part that sucks. And then the part that is not so good where you have to pay. Like the way people look at taxes, you know? But if we were using and understanding that system right, you might be getting $40,000 a year back every time you do your taxes. Now that'd be a reason to sit down and do your taxes, now wouldn't it? Just saying, it's a good way to start the year running. And I'm talking about low income people, renters. You guys can do this. You just don't know how. And that's not how it's supposed to be. So we have this class coming up this weekend on March 11th and 12th. And it's going to be about setting this thing up. It's going to be about taking your straw man, you break his arms and his legs, you put him in a box, you put him in a contract, and he can no longer hurt anybody anymore. But here's what he gets to do. He gets to work. That's right. Not you. Well, a little bit you. But for him or her, no fun, no sandwiches, no nothing. They're just for the benefit of your beneficiaries. Now, men, that's why we go to work, isn't it? We go to work so that we can take care of our families. But what happens if something happens to you at work? What happens if that faucet turns off? Then your beneficiaries are in a lot of trouble. And they're going to be scrambling around looking for pieces of whatever you left for them. And meanwhile, there's going to be a whole bunch of other people. Hold on a second. Meanwhile, there'll be a whole bunch of other people running around cashing in on all that. Attorneys are really good at that. So how do we want to eliminate that? We want to take all of our stuff and we want to move it into the public. We want to take all of our public and we want to move it into the private. And how is this done? By contract, proper contract. And so when you stop commingling your public and private, you're going to have a real change in what's going on. So you don't want to commingle your private trust name, all caps name, with your upper lowercase person's name because they're not the same people. But if you go in there and do that court stuff, ever notice that that's the one thing that these yo-yos out there are actually successful at doing? I got my name changed. They're happy. You're dumb. You just put shackles on yourself. You just commingled all of your public and private. And now everything you do is public because nobody else is going to be able to tell the difference either. Didn't change your status. It hurts you. And this is why we got to be careful about doing this kind of stuff. All right, James, I'm going to unmute you, man. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on some of this stuff that some of these people are talking about sending the people out to go do?
I think is what it is you've got a lot of time invested, or we have a lot of time invested into our public trust, and a lot of these movements are trying to get you to basically relinquish that. And if the government, once you get rid of something or acquiescence into something that goes away, you cannot get it back.
That's right. So when these guys are like, they're dispelling themselves from the country, what do they call it? An AOR or something? Something dumb like that they call it, where they're telling them that we don't want to live here anymore. We don't love you anymore. And we want out. We're going to leave. We don't care. And then in the next sentence, page 14, after you get done doing that, it's Go claim your rights and all your stuff over there.
That's the
You know what I'm
affidavit
talking
of
about?
repudiation.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What's that, brother?
Affidavit of repudiation.
Yes. Is that what that's called? The affidavit of repudiation, right,
I
James?
believe it is.
Yeah, that's what it's called. That affidavit of repudiation, which just says that you give up, you don't want to play anymore, and you surrender all that stuff. And guess what? People are missing in that process. It's not a bad thing. You just need to learn how to manage it. If somebody gave you a bank account and you wadded it up and threw it in the trash, that's not going to help you very much. And that's exactly what those AORs are doing. Would you agree, James?
Yeah.
I mean, how are you
I
going
just
to? I
don't
mean,
see the point in all this paperwork. All you have to do is clear up the presumption. You don't have to go to all these links and pay all this money for these packages. When if you just ask the right question, you go on Google and type off the format and send it yourself. It's about you communicating or interfacing as a private sovereign with the public. And
that's
like you
right.
said earlier, we're trapping ourselves. We're doing this to ourselves because we refuse to go educate ourselves about the systems and its instructions on the processes.
That's right.
And this is
That's
how
right.
you tell if you're being lied to.
That's right. That's exactly
Mhm.
right. That's exactly right. And I encourage all of you guys, if you're listening to anybody, even me, even James here, you know what? Go look up what we're saying. If you think we're lying, go look it up. Don't sit over there and pout and say, oh, they're just full of it. Go look it up. Go
Make
prove
me
it to
smile and
yourself.
correct me.
Don't prove it to me. Prove it to yourself. And enjoy
Yeah.
that humble pie too, by the way. But
Yeah, I get a big smile when somebody corrects me. I love
I
it.
know.
It makes me
Me too.
better, you know.
Yeah. It
That's
makes my teeth stronger.
that's right.
Because the next time when the guillotine goes down, it'll cut the head off. It won't just leave like a piece of skin there and just keep having to shut it and shut it and shut it. That's no good.
And let's make this efficient.
Anyway, I want to open this thing up for any questions or comments. I'm seeing a lot of folks unmuting out there. Anybody got any questions or comments in Uber conference land? Why do we file a UCC? Why would we need to file any of that stuff? Why is this secured party creditor thing such a big deal? Go ahead, brother. Was that you? Did you unmute? Those of you guys that are on the phone, if you press star to unmute, you guys will be able to unmute. And we do want to have your questions. That's what they're here for. We've got a couple of guys from New York here. Welcome. We've got Richmond, Virginia, Bandera, Texas, El Paso, Texas. Texas, you're in trouble. We got a lot of people waking up. We got Biloxi, Mississippi. We got Plainfield, New Jersey. That's right. We got Washington. We got Nick. We got all the guys here. We got
Screaming
John
out
from
all the
Indiana.
numbers.
Go ahead. I hope that is not somebody calling me on my phone. Anyway, oh no, my phones are both here. Anyway, so let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about if you guys have any questions, just unmute and let me know, and start moving furniture like James does, and we'll know that you have a question. No, I'm kidding. Just let us know. So one of the reasons that you want to file this is that you want to take control over your intellectual property. Okay. You don't want to be dancing around it and go, look, there's a SQV trust. There's a SQV trust. Look, here's my paper. There's a SQV trust. And the rest of it's in my glove box. Check. No, that doesn't need to be you, man. This stuff is all done in the private. I can't tell you how many students take my class. And because we're still commingling public and private, we can't help it. It's something you got to really unlearn. They'll call me and ask me, "Hey, do we put our whole trust? Do we file that with the UCC on a public document?" No. That's a big fat no. Why? Why would that be a bad idea? Well, if somebody ever wanted to sue you, they could go after your beneficiaries and they would all be named. And Stacy nailed it right on the head as always. Thank you, Stacy. The trust is private. And it's not private if it's in the public. Here's another myth that's out there. Go get a DBA so you can sell popsicles under your EIN. Really? That's all you're doing is setting yourself up to get a big fat bill from somebody wanting some tax money from you by filing one of those. And how private is that? How does that move you into the private with another public filing saying that now you're doing business as your name? Do you see how backwards that is? That's another myth that's out there. Guys, don't do this stuff. Don't do this stuff. Don't listen to these people. Their job is to keep you distracted. Their job is to keep you from the promise and the wisdom that Yahweh is trying to give you. Okay? Look, I know some of you guys may not be religious people. That's good because Yahweh's not religious either. He has one covenant with man, just one. He's coming for one group of people, just one. And if you've been turned on, if the lights have turned on and your family thinks you're crazy now because you know all this and you're misfiring all over the place with just energy, that's a stirring that Yahweh has put in your heart and you need to manage it. And the first thing that we need to manage is our straw person. That's what makes us vulnerable. How do they pluck you off the street? Because you're straw man. Your straw man is like a floating set of beer cans left at the lake, still in the water, cold, keeping those beers nice and cold. And you're like, oh, Johnny, we forgot the beer. Oh well. And y'all leave, right? Everybody does. And then just any old person can come by and just help themselves. And I'm going to tell you, our straw persons, our legal fictions are literally just like that. They're left out there. And these road pirates, all they got to do is turn on some flashy lights and they're doing commerce with you. You ever notice it's just that easy? And they're doing commerce. And how can they just walk in the door and do all this? Because you have nothing. You're that floating set of beer cans left at the dock, man. You got nothing to help you. There's nobody there with a receipt that says, nope, that's my beer. That's my stuff. Don't take it.
Pastor, let me add something to this. Some simple
Go
thought
ahead.
for these people that it's kind of new to this.
We got a lot
Basically,
of
what
people.
you're
Go ahead.
doing when you're using your UCC is you're moving your public trust into the private, because we all exist in the public. That's how we were raised.
That's
So
right.
you're just securing it in the private. You're not reinventing the wheel.
Yes.
You're just being a movement as a holder in the system.
And that's right. We are talking about secured party creditor, secured creditor type stuff. But this is refined. I've actually done all of this. It actually works. I didn't have to wait for the 2.0 or the 3.0 version to come out so I could get my life together. And nothing fell apart because they released another book either. So what we have to do is we have to learn exactly that. You're taking all of the stuff that was available from the public and you're moving it into a trust. So let's talk a little bit about what a trust is. A trust is a neutral, non-factionable entity that is designed to hold property for the purpose of your beneficiaries. Have you ever noticed that they're always taking money from you somewhere? Somebody's always got a charge somewhere for something. Well, once your stuff goes into trust, hold on, I gotta mute some people out here. Once they go into trust, they're off the books. They're not available. Thank you, Stacy. They're not available anymore. And that's where we need to be, is not available. When they know that you're available, they make themselves very available. Did you have something you wanted to add, Sean?
Do you have a direct treasury account? Or is that
A Treasury Direct account? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it's possible to do. It's gurus just telling you it's able to be done, but don't show you how.
No, they don't, and it's not done through Treasury Direct either. Treasury Direct is for moving securities and bank credits, and basically you can go in and buy FRNs. So how do you buying these FRNs? Well, you're taking your bank credits and you're taking them directly. So this and that gets, and I'm really glad that came up because this, I'm going to give another myth that's out there. I just heard a video where David Straight was telling people that if you have X amount of money, it doesn't matter how much, but if you have X amount of money in your bank, you better go get it out because they're going to take it. That is the most ignorant statement I've ever heard. And here's why. We don't shovel money from one bucket to the other. Okay. We have an unlimited amount of debt notes pretty much that are everywhere. Actually, it's not unlimited anymore. They've stopped printing them. But we have a fair amount of debt notes running around that we can trade back and forth to do our commerce. So when you have your money in bank credits, that's treasury money, basically. So when you convert that into money, like David is saying to do, and go do a bank run, he's telling people to go do bank runs, get all your money out of the bank. Well, all they have to do is devalue the paper, and then that paper is worthless. So yeah, go get your money out of the banks. Go collapse all the banks. Ooh, you'll show them. You know what else you'll show them? You'll collapse the whole thing. And that's what these terrorists are trying to do. And they're lying to you guys and trying to get you to go out there and do stupid crap like this so it will hurt our country. And my God, we have enough problems. We really do. We got enough confused people in this country. I think we can all say that. And what we don't need is a whole lot more confusion. So when you hear some yo-yo telling you to go get your money out of the bank, no. If you want to get something out of the bank, get your bank credits out of the bank. Move them into something else. But here's the problem. Once you start converting those, now they're all taxable now. It's all taxable. We were talking about this in the call in the tax equity and discharge class towards the end. Kevin Lewis was on there. We were talking about, buying gold and silver right now. It's a really good idea. It's down, it's low. It's a good time to buy. And when you see the market dip it like this, because there's the real numbers and then there's the numbers we get. And when you see the market dip like this, that means that they're conditioning us for something big. That means we got a really good chance of seeing, like right now, we're seeing silver at just under $22 and $22 an ounce. That's cheap. That's really cheap. I've seen it since COVID as high as 26. Okay. So I mean, that's a big jump. Gold dropped almost $70. $70 in the last 60 days. And now it's rebounding back up to about another 30. So this is telling you, by watching these markets are going to tell you what's going on in the real market. Remember, I told you there's a private side and a public side to everything that we do. When you see ripples like this, you need to pay attention, because that means there's something happening on the other side of that wall. There's something that's working. So don't go get your money out of the banks, okay? Stop listening to people that are telling you guys to go destabilize this country. Because believe me, we have enough idiots and pedophiles in office. They'll do it all by themselves. We don't need any help, I assure you. No help at all. It's true. And we're complaining about people in office, but yet these very same liars are being put in office by other liars. Maybe we need to start working on ourselves, America. Maybe we need to start looking at our family structures. Hold on a second. What if I moved it to IUL, tax-free life insurance? If you move all your money to an IUL, you can. You can, but that's just a different spectrum. That's a different way to do things. And the problem is that you end up operating the way that you're operating right now. And how is that? We all have a hole in our boat. And what we're doing is we're all trying to keep our boats full so that we can accommodate for the leakage, for what we're losing in fees, charges, taxes, insurance, dumb, stupid stuff, especially health insurance. And we're bleeding, America. We're literally bleeding right now. So what we've got to do is we've got to make enough money, and we've got to get out there on that wheel and run. Exactly, Sean. We got to get out there and run on that wheel. Exactly. Or everybody sinks. And when you start saying that, okay, well, I don't have to pay taxes anymore, all you've done is you've made the hole in your boat just a little bit smaller. You're still leaking. You're just not leaking as much. And that's not a plus. You still have a slave collar on. You still have a leak in your boat. and ask yourself, how many leaks in your fishing boat are acceptable? I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, 0. Because I want to stay dry in my boat, or as dry as I possibly can. Doesn't make any sense. So when you're looking for the exit door, because you're respectfully, you're thinking about, hey, I don't want to pay taxes anymore. It's because you don't understand what you're doing. Most of you are paying your employer's taxes. Most of you are doing everybody else's taxes except for yours. And then they give you a little fee at the end of the year, a little earned income tax credit. Say, here you go. Thanks for playing. Thanks for doing everybody's taxes. You're a good American. Good job. And then it makes you want to run out and go buy a flag and a dishwasher. Let's do it. It's true. It's true. It's absolutely true. And it happens every year at tax time. Y'all get excited and it's Ford Truck Month. Let's go. Go see how this dollar works. Yeah. Got a rebate. And we don't even realize what's really going on. Can I tell you what rebates really are? I mentioned this in the tax equity and discharge class, but I'm going to tell you what rebates really are. What we should be doing is buying our vehicles at the end of the year, which if you ever notice, businesses do that. Yep, I know because I spent 22 years in the car business. So this is how I know these things. So again, these things are happening and we're not seeing it. We're not ready for it. Sorry, I got lost. I got sidetracked there. I was reading a question here. You can ask all the questions you want about the trust. Go for it, man. Absolutely. That was the whole point of this. So what we got to do is we got to learn to master that situation. Okay. Obviously, they're accessing your Sessa QV trust by using your trust. So if you want to know how to get into your trust, watch everybody else. That's how I learned. I'm not going to lie. That's how I figured it out. I saw everybody else doing it. Anyway, I heard somebody unmute. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
I've been re-listening to some of your stuff that you said about the trust, and my father died and left my mom destitute, whatnot, and you were talking about how a husband should put his wife like in the trust with him, not to have her own.
Yes.
I think I understood you correctly. So
Yes.
what happens in the event of a death of the?
What happened? Okay, so
In the event of my death, what happens to her and the trust and whatnot?
okay, so what would happen is you have what is called successor trustees. And so what you have to do is look at your trust as like an entity, okay? Like a stop and go. And if you pass away, then just means that you're not the cashier anymore. You're not back there making truck orders anymore. But trust me, that stop and go will still be running. And why is it going to still be running? Because everybody's named in their positions. How are you going to keep the state out of your business? Having that and having that contract in place and that trust in place, it keeps them out of your stuff.
Does she ever
I'm gonna
get
get
a
to that
trust in
question.
her own name in the event of the death? Does she open up her own trust or?
So right now, your mom is on your own, and dad passed away. So I'm clear. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
but the only reason why I was saying that is because I don't want to see that kind of stuff happen to my wife. Where I didn't take care of things that needed to be done.
Well, I mean, for your
learned.
mom, I would put everything in trust right now, and have her. I would strongly recommend you take my class. I really would. We'll go through it step by step, and then that way you become the first in line, and that means even over taxes, even over anything. You'll be first in line to be taken care of so that you can take care of her estate. And then you can mirror that same process on you as well. Set you up the same way. Get yourself out of the public, get yourself back behind the counter, and basically you're the storekeeper. You're the one that controls everything, but you own nothing. And nobody can ever hurt you. I spoke with someone today that was talking about child support and things like that. Well, that's a pretty easy thing to fix if you have a trust in place, because those children are beneficiaries, obviously. So if you redirect their payments as beneficiaries through the trust, then we don't need the state anymore. That's how you can make that go away. Guys having trouble keeping your kids at home, they want to take them, husband, wife, whoever, the other side. Well, if your trust is held, if your home is held in trust and your children are the beneficiaries of that trust, no court's going to move them out of your house because it's already been pre-designated, you see. So, where do we fall up the most is when we don't where we really fail is that we're like that floating can of beer cans out there. We don't know what to do. So they throw us into court and some masculine guy in a black dress decides he's going to rise and fall and raise the dead and tell everybody what they're doing. And we don't have to do that. That is simply a choice. And it's just like what James said a second ago about mixing your public and private. You know, we choose by consent to mix our public with private every time we go do a divorce. Every time we want to go to the people's court with Judge Wapner. Did that answer your question? Does that make sense?
Yes, but I think you got confused. I have taken your class, and I was
Oh.
rewatching it and how to set it up.
Oh, okay. Okay, you did.
I
Okay,
finally
cool.
got my book so that I could start setting stuff out.
Hey,
I'm Mark from Kentucky, Tim. Go on.
Mark. Oh man, come on, dude. We gotta fix that. Hold on, man. I gotta fix that right now. I gotta fix that. Let's see. User profile.
You know, the guy with the Jewish Bibles now. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. I'm so sorry, man.
That's all right.
Let's see.
And I'm
So,
blessed. See, blessed Mark. It should be easy.
Mark, next time you come in, just put your name in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put your
I
name
thought
in
you
there
was-
so we know who you are, because I can't. I'm trying to add you, but I can't. I need a teenager.
Well,
so-
here's the thing. I don't know how to talk to you on the live, so I dialed in also.
Oh, okay.
And so
Okay.
I don't know how to put a name on the dial in. So
Oh, okay. Oh, we got it. Never mind. We got it.
Okay.
We know who you are, man. We're good. I'm glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. So, yes,
I
in
am too.
your situation, you definitely want to do that. You want to get your mom in a trust. Make yourself the beneficiary if she'll allow it, or the trustee, and then set up everybody else and just go through the plan with her.
Okay.
That's all you need to do, and you're good to go.
All right.
Any other questions, comments? Anybody else? Come on, we're hot tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Don't be shy. You're welcome, brother. Anytime. Thanks for calling, man. Appreciate you. And we appreciate all of your support, everyone.
Tim, question?
Go ahead.
So you had mentioned child support. I have a friend that is actually trying to stop paying child support.
Mhm.
What's the process that they need to go through for that?
Well, they need to set up a trust, and they need to make those children beneficiaries, and then they need to redirect all their payments through the trust. And then that will exclude the other agencies. Also, another thing that they need to do is make sure that they're not on state insurance. The state loves to come after people, especially if they're using their state insurance. That's why you don't ever see CPS rolling by anybody's house with expensive cars, because they got private insurance. That's clear. So, or they're criminals, one of the two.
Okay. I think I'm going to send a follow-up on the info page because it's a little more complicated than that, and this isn't the
Yeah,
first
let's have
one.
a talk. Set up an interview with me, and we can definitely have a talk about it.
Sounds good.
It
Thank you.
it would be fun, actually. Yeah. So yeah, definitely do that. Awesome. Let's see. You help people who don't have funds currently for the classes. Okay, so on my classes, regarding my classes, our classes are fundraisers. This is what we do so that we can help other people. So that would be a no. I do have some discounted rates though available So if you guys would like or interested in that, and there's some other ways you can take the class, which are a little bit less expensive. Those of you all that are, and I certainly feel you from that department. Everybody's feeling the crunch now, and so there are some cheaper ways to take the classes. You get less stuff, but you could still at least get the bulk of what we're talking about. And then if you feel like, you wanna jump in and do the rest and get the documents and get recordings and all that other stuff, then you know what? Just pay the rest, and so it's a good safe way to do it. So set up an appointment with me. I don't like to be like a salesman here on the call. That's not what we're here to do. But set an appointment for me. I'll put my best dancing shoes on, I promise, and I'll work it out. We'll make sure that we get you into the classes. And I gotta interview you first because, if you're part of one of these cuckoo groups, you're not coming in. But if we can go through our interview process and I feel like you're gonna be a good match for us. We have a private group, by the way. So all the folks that take the class, you get pulled into the freedom page. You won't find it otherwise. And some of my guys have been in there for 7 years. So we need to protect those people. We're going on 8 years now. So we want to protect those people and their privacy and things like that. So I don't just let anybody in the page. But we're happy to help you. And we're certainly not going to teach you a bunch of stuff and drop you off at the curb and say, well, you need to do some studying. That's not our style. We're here to help you. So I help lots of people with stuff. So let's see. Can you help us? Yeah, I'm helping you right now. Go ahead. Where do you sign up for the classes? Okay. So somebody's asking me, go to our webpage, House of Yah. That's YAH, communityoutreach.com. That's House of Yah, communityoutreach.com. Please, yeah, set up an interview with me. I'd love to meet with you. I do these things all day long. The only days I don't do them this month is Wednesdays. So if the computer sets you up for Wednesday, you're gonna get a message from me that says I'll have to call you at night or do it after 6. Just during the day, that's Yahweh's day. And so what we do is we shut everything down. I rarely even answer the phone, and that is a praise and worship day. It is truly a holy day, and that's what we do. So yes. Can you repeat what you said about state health? Yes. Hey, Erica. Welcome. Glad you're here. Yes. So if you oh wow. Yeah. James is saying that there's somebody that's trolling us. Well, come on, man. You might learn something. Welcome, trollers, boat trollers, whatever you are. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. Welcome to the call. Um ah, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes, about the insurance. So what happens is that they lose subject matter jurisdiction when CPS will come in only on children that have state insurance. If they don't have state insurance, they don't bother those people. So if you want to get rid of CPS, stop using that free insurance. If CPS keeps coming to your house, it's because of the free insurance. There's always a catch 22. Go ahead, Sean. What you got? I saw you unmuted. Okay. You're just quiet over there. Okay. Just making gang signs over there. I see you. It's all right. It's my hood, yo. Watch out. I'm getting bigger wheels next week. Other stuff.
So,
Yeah.
quick question, Pastor Tim.
Go ahead.
On the insurance, it's best to have like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, something like that, away from
Obamacare.
Obamacare and this other free insurance. Then,
Yeah. If it's free 99, they're coming for your kids. Trust me. And I'm going to tell you that's where people are really messing up the most. If you want to know why you're hearing all these bad CPS stories and then you don't really hear them from anybody else, that's why. That's why. And so they're going to go after because your kids are signed up for those things, they already know where you live, they know everything about you, and they're coming for you, you know? And we saw this year, Shalom. We saw this for everyone. We saw this year with COVID. They told everybody to, go down and take your vitamins, and not everybody likes Flintstone vitamins. I don't like Flintstone vitamins. Nope. Sure don't. They taste real irony, like they got iron stuff in them. You ever remember that when you were a kid when you'd eat like too many of those Flintstones? Yeah. Like the dinosaur one is the one I always wanted to eat. And it had that real irony taste. It's no good. But, and that's all it took. So guess what? If you want to push the ball back, that's all it takes too. Anyway, James is reporting some good stuff. So definitely investing into a fundraiser for more convenient time saving process with fruits provided. I'm going to tell you that I think that we need to go through this time process. I don't think you can make, he hasn't taken the UCC class, but he's about to. So those of you guys that do take the UCC class, you're going to see that it's a real growth. It's something that's happening inside you. Your brain is just going to, and you're like, oh, there's a whole nother floor here. And that's exactly how it's going to feel. And then you're going to realize that, what you've been doing, you knew half the battle on each side, basically, is what it feels like. I agree, James. We'll talk about that this week. That's for sure. And for all the trolls that are coming in, I'm so glad that you're here. Please feel free to stump Tim Damron. Ask me anything you want. I don't care. You know what? You go get your best voodoo magic. Bring it on the call. Put some starch in your shirt. Brush your teeth. And come over here and sit down. And let's talk like men. Other than that, turn off your computer and go watch Magnum PI. Leave me alone. Really. You trollers need to stop it. Little children.
Hey, Tim.
Go ahead.
How you doing? So I have a question, right? First of all, I know for me, I'm sure other people feel this way, but one of the problems is that we come across so much of this stuff, especially recently on TikTok, and everybody has like different information. For example, I thought I was starting to get it with the secured creditor and the UCC stuff, and then I land on some guy's page who seems really smart. All right, he's talking about a lot of case law and he seems intelligent, and then he goes to say the straw man's BS. There is no straw man. There's no this. There's no that. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. It's just
What's
crazy.
he controlling then? Yeah.
And it makes sense. Like it's actually intuitive to me. Now, specifically, is this the same as in the context of a court case, right? No harm done. Whatever, victimless crime, all that stuff.
Sure.
Is this the same as like accepting for value, or is that different? And can you accept the presentment for value? And I don't want to sound like the sovereign rabbit guy, but can you accept it? Do you have to be a secured party creditor to do that, or can you just state your who you are and just differentiate yourself?
So, and that's a really great question. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to clear that up. And basically, what he was asking is that do you have to be a secured creditor to master and do all these things? No, but yes, but just a little, but not what they said. And that's really that's the short answer. Okay. So what I'm telling you is they have an idea what they're doing, but the problem is because the writer of that, I don't know what you want to call it. It's that writer of that procedure or doctrine. Let's call it a doctrine. Let's call it a doctrine. That sounds better. Okay. So the writer or the author of that doctrine has no, he hasn't done it himself. So what he's doing is, James made a video about this earlier this week. He was talking about robbing somebody's intellectual property. When you take somebody else's information and you haven't done it, you are stealing that other person's intellectual property, Kenny Plaster. That's what you're doing because you're just taking information from here to here, not knowing if it works or not. That's like losing the directions to put together your table and then calling me and saying, hey, man, you got directions to your table, don't you? Send them to me, man, so I can put my table together. It's not even the same table. He just wants directions. No. And literally, we're falling that short because we're missing it, because we're listening to people, just like James is saying, with no fruits. The straight group, the state national group, those guys have not filed a case on anybody and won anything ever. But you sure wouldn't be able to tell by watching that cuckoo bird. He's flying all over the place.
they're trying to convince us that they gave away their salon just because they're nice. You know what I mean? There's got to be more. You know, they might pay taxes. I mean, and I questioned him on it, and he's like, "Well, didn't you hear Gwen say that?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I never really heard of somebody doing that before. You know, like that to give away your family business. Like it just doesn't make sense." And then they're calling themselves American state nationals, and like it's a whole. That sounds like sovereign citizen stuff to me. You know what I mean?
It is.
It just sounds crazy.
It is. And these people are in prisons right now, and they're dangerous. These people are in prisons right now in America right now. And I know that James posted some stuff about it this week too, but I've also because we do prison ministry work too as well. And I've thrown that around too just to see what's going on with these state nationals, because now they're actually starting to all go to prison now. You know, you're not hearing any good stories or success stories. They're all going to jail. And these people are creating such a ruckus, and they're such a nuisance, and they are a violent nuisance that they're having to be put in solitaire, and they're having to be taken out of public, the public, general public there in these prisons and jails. And I
Wow.
gotta tell you, that's no good, man. Dude, no days in jail are worth testing anybody's theory. I'm gonna tell you that now, Sovereign Rabbit. You know? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to do that because right now I'm that person that, you know, I have this court case the first time in my life. I have a lawyer. We're arguing about everything, and it doesn't matter
Mhm.
what I say. He'll always come back at me with, "Oh, that's sovereign citizen stuff. You know, you think you're a vessel and shit like that." You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter what kind of intelligent argument I put up, and I just don't know where to start. I'm going to pretrial, and what
What kinda case
50
you got going on?
it's crazy. It's a DUI from Connecticut. It name's Anthony, by the way. I think I've messaged
Okay.
you a couple times, but it's a DUI in Connecticut. I blew a 0-0. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I didn't hurt anybody. I crashed my car, and the cop pulled up on me after the fact. And my
Okay.
lawyer wants to go in. He didn't do anything for it's 3 years old. I'm out on a $1,500 bond,
For how long?
and this happened in 2019. We just kept
Why are they
putting
dragging their feet?
because it was every time I went to court, it was like, accept the deal, or my lawyer, didn't show up because he was at another trial.
Oh.
Um, and then COVID, for a year. So it's just
Oh,
taking
yeah.
forever. They offered me one deal, 4 months freaking prison, which is ridiculous. And 18 months probation. Like they're not negotiating with me in good faith. And my lawyer, check this out. He used to be the prosecutor
Oh,
in the
yeah,
same
they're all
district
friends.
that I'm in freaking court.
Yeah, well, they're friends. They're friends.
Of course they are. And I want to
Yeah.
fire him. I just don't know I just don't know where to start.
No, you don't fire him. Don't fire that guy. Just make him go to work for you. So here's what you do. Here's what you do. Look up the statute of limitations for crimes in your state, and because it's probably a misdemeanor, they probably
It
they
is.
probably no longer have subject matter jurisdiction because it's too old.
Okay.
And
I'm in
then
New York, and this happened in Connecticut, Greenwich, Connecticut, of
it
all
doesn't
places.
matter. Yeah, you on misdemeanors, it's usually 2 years, and that's a federal rule, and most of the states follow it. But look it up in that jurisdiction. Just Google it. A good
Okay.
place to go is Google Scholar. Everyone,
Okay.
you guys want to look up some stuff? Don't call Kitty Plaster. Go to Google Scholar. Don't look up David Straight. He's never filed a case anywhere. And Anna Von Wright. Oh, oh man,
Mm.
James. Isn't she with Planned Parenthood or something? In that, can you tell us more about that? What you found out about that? About Anna Von Wright, baby killer?
Yeah, I just shared it, but I've actually waiting to pull the information up myself. It's not that hard, but yeah, it's some pretty wild information, and that's why I said it's a little more sinister than what we would want to lead on for.
Yeah, because she's a believer in killing babies. No, she's with the
We all
Planned
know what
Parenthood.
Planned
Isn't that what she
Parenthood
posted? Yeah, that's what she posted, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that was through a gentleman, Pastor of the Way. He
Yes.
posted several damning data points in there about both of them, Anna Von Wright and David Straight.
Well, oh my goodness, look what I started. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to blow the top off everything, but that's just Tim Dameron. That's what he does. So everybody's going to hunt you down with pitchforks now, David. Watch out. They're coming. You too,
Yeah,
Kenny.
I
You're gonna have
mean,
to cut your beard.
there's so much
Dye your hair.
knowledge on that side, and I hate to see that they just carry on with this. But I mean, we're literally showing them in the system where they're wrong. We're showing them the codes. We're showing them
Yep.
the lineage of these laws, where they've been revised. I mean, they're just not listening.
No. And I think people are just in a fog right now. They're in a fog of comfort. And we need to not be so comfortable. We need to be aware.
Yeah,
Do
this
you
is the
care about
apocalypse.
the Constitution? Oh boy.
Big
Hey, some
change.
cuckoo bird wants to know if I care about the Constitution. Oh, stop it.
Absolutely. We care
Oh,
about all
stop
of
it.
it.
And what we don't care about is silly people making silly comments like that. Just hang out for a minute in the bleachers there, Hot Rod, and then you can jump in and throw some peanuts in, okay?
We love
Just
the
listen.
Constitution.
Yeah,
What
I
are you
love the
talking about? Have
Constitution.
you ever been through a court case? Are they respecting the Constitution? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a crazy comment.
Right? I know, right? We're just sitting here talking, and he just comes out like he's got Tourette's or something and throws that out there. I'm just, you even care about the Constitution? And then he wants to let us know that it states it all. Okay, that's it. Everybody go home. We just got the answer now. We're good. Thank you, bro.
Right, exactly.
Love you,
That helps
man.
a lot. Thanks.
We love you, man. Go save Caroline. She's still in the TV. Go get her.
Civil
Come on, I heard her.
Constitution.
Was there private help with any of that? Like, I'm, not. Well, obviously from the court case, I'm in
Just
too,
kidding.
but just as a lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Look, I'm because I was over here babbling too, so I caught half of what you said. But let me just clean this up. Look, if we have people out there, you would not take financial advice from a hobo, would you? Would anybody take it from a hobo? Because I wouldn't. Because he got no
and I'm an
fruits.
investment advisor.
Right. See? And so, I mean, there you go. So, and you know what? Make an appointment with me, by the way, over there. Yeah, we need to talk again because I need to talk to you about that since you do that.
Okay.
I need to talk to you about your work. Yes. So make an appointment with me. Let's talk. But
We need a podcast.
I know, right? Well, that is like the cast, but it's just private. And
Like
we've been
all at
doing
the
this
same
call
table
for
podcast.
I've been doing this call for 7 years. And 7 years. I'm still here, still trucking. Nobody's beating
That's
down
some
our door and
dedication.
going to jail. Oh, no. It's more than dedication. It's obedience. Yahweh told me to do this. And you know what? The
Obedience.
last time he told me if I'm gonna get in that RV and tell people about him, I was like, no, you weren't talking to me. No, you weren't. And you know
I
what?
use the words
Yes, he
conviction.
was.
Like
What's
I
that?
feel this conviction to do what I do.
Me too. Me too.
That's my only excuse.
And my Mondays during the day are attacked all day to keep
Yep.
me from jumping on this call. And usually I have equipment failure, stuff falling off the desk. That happened last week. Sorry, everybody. And Satan is always after my stuff. Like the guy over here that asked me if I believe in the Constitution. Put that. Really, get that
Pastor
guy.
Tim.
He needs a hot dog and a Coke. He needs to hang out for just a little bit. You'll see.
Yeah.
Welcome, Dad Bod. Glad you're here, buddy. We need to get together and have some breakfast sometime. Sorry, buddy. I've been so busy. But we sure miss you in class. We'd love to have you in class. Those of you guys that are interested in doing this and doing it right, come take the UCC and trust class. Those of you guys that have taken the class and maybe you're trying to apply it somewhere else and you need to hear it maybe one more time, it's $175 to come back and do a retake. Come and take it. 6 hours. It's cheap. It's a good deal. Anyway, what you got, brother? Go ahead.
You talking to me?
Sure.
Hey, I have a question. I was rewatching about setting up the trust. This is Mark again, and
Mark.
my wife and I were both married in Italy, and our certificate of marriage does not have any kind of number. We were married by an Italian judge. The consulate over there approved it all, and but as far as any number, because that was one of the things you were saying to get her up in my trust was I needed the marriage certificate number. We don't have one.
No, you just use it as an attachment. Just put it as an attachment for your trust and just stick it in
Make
there.
a copy of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call it attachment A. And then when you refer to her in your trust, You would say see attachment A.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was easy.
See?
You need that button. That was easy.
There you go. Ding ding. There you go. See,
Hey, do you
and
know
that
the Constitution?
yeah, man. I love the Constitution, man. And I love all you guys out there too, even you guys with the silly questions. And if it wasn't silly and we're all having fun at your expense, I apologize. Sort of.
Quick
Thank you,
question.
Tim.
You're welcome. Go ahead,
Sorry,
brother.
sorry to interrupt, sir. And Pastor Tim, quick question. That's for the person about the Constitution. I mean, even that I'm slow with this, that I'm new. I fought for this country, and I do believe in the Constitution. But correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't the Constitution covered under the UCC also?
Well, actually, that's a great question. The Constitution is based on the UCC, but we have unalienable rights that we start speaking about when we go under contract with the trust. See, there's a difference, okay? We have unalienable rights, but if you don't contract under those rights, that's like Bruce Springsteen on your bedroom wall. It means nothing. Just covering the hole. That's all it's doing. Okay, somebody is asking me here, really good question here. He says, do we have to join the community to join the class, or is that separate? Okay, yeah, because we're not like the Kenny Plaster program. No, you come on in, come take the class, and then we invite you to the Freedom page. But you got to do an interview with me first. We got to make sure you're good. No chicken feathers. Serious. We got to make sure you're good. So please do that and give me an opportunity to get to know you and ask you some questions and make sure that this class is going to benefit you and make sure that this class is going to give you what you're trying to accomplish. Because I got some people that call me up and they're still chasing those rainbows out there. And for those guys, I usually just wind them up and send them back that direction. Let them just let them go. And you know what? When they get tired and they get burned out, they'll come back and they'll figure out that, okay, Tim was just being patient. And I am, because that's what love is. Love is patient, it's kind, and I try not to be too crappy to anybody. Anyway, let's see. James asks, he says, which law do you want to break? Could be the question. When we use situations to protect ourselves from contracts. Yeah, that's true. And then Bruce was saying, it says, Stacy, we follow the original as the system follows UCC. Stacy do it. Which Constitution?
Real quick, Pastor Tim.
Go ahead.
Which law do you want to break should be the question, referring to the
Yeah,
better
thank you.
question is which Constitution, and then I, answering that, and then I followed up my own sentence. We use constitutions to protect our contracts from contractors.
That's exactly right. There's a hidden message in there, everybody. Say that one more time. I like the way you say it. Say it again. It was good.
Yeah, it says, which law do you want to break should be the question, referring back to Stacy's question. The better question is which Constitution, and then followed up to that original part. I wrote, we use constitutions to protect our contracts from contractors.
Right. So what we're doing is we're using black magic for black magic, everybody. We're using spelling for spelling, casting for casting. Get it?
Using the enemy's weapon against them is the analogy.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you can throw water on a witch either way. And throwing water on a witch is doing this, filing an affidavit with a court, being able to testify to certain evidence they can't testify to. That's how we do it. So anyway, I hope that answered your question. Awesome. Thanks for being here. I'm glad everybody has been here tonight. This has been a wonderful call. We've gone a little bit over tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here. Join us next week. We're going to be talking about a lot more stuff. James and I are going to actually rehearse this thing so we do it right this time. Today we just we landed the plane, but with no landing gear. But it's okay. Next week we'll get better at it.
I'm
Truth
a
is
freelancer.
truth.
I like it.
Yeah, he likes it. He likes to work off the cuff.
Adapt
That's what
and
I like about
overcome.
James.
Just
Also,
go ahead.
this weekend, don't forget we have UCC and Trust coming up. So please sign up and come and take the class. If you've taken the class before and you're still not getting it, come and take it again. Okay? Ask those questions you meant to ask before. Don't be such a chicken this time. Anyway, I love you guys. I want you guys to have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful week. May Yahweh bless your homes, your day, all the people you interact with. Go out there, spread the gospel, tell the truth to everybody, no matter what they say. Tell the truth, everybody. And Yahweh will bless you and bless everything that you do. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Good night, everybody. Thank you, James, for joining us. Good night.
God bless everybody. God bless you, Pastor Tim. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.